Morning and happy Monday to everyone here. The reason for this video is this is going to be now the full demo of the entire build that's for the DFR sheets. I've completed everything. It's running. It's to the point where you can input the images and the AI would read it and then would add it to the database. And then after adding it to the database, there will be a little bit of verification from your people there to ensure that everything is correct and make sure that they're entered, properly. And then after confirming that everything has been verified, the system automatically processes it to convert it into an invoice in the CSV format that Mike sent me. But I'll start here with the form. So basically, to start the process, you'll have to upload an image, a PNG or a JPG. I will be using the uh, Armadale here. Let me see. I want the one. Okay, this one. This one has more entries. So if this one gets added into the system, you can see we can upload the file there. And then when this file is uploaded, it would go to the DocVision submission automation here. So that's the only thing that you have to do. You can change the status, but the default is to do to mark it, pending for processing. And then when that is submitted, it would go here to the system, and then the system will check the database and it will run it through the automation here. So give me a moment. Let me go ahead and switch to the run here. There we go. Use existing data. So as you can see, this is coming from Airtable. So our submission was received here, and then after that, it goes through the whole process. This is the AI reader for our documents, and then these icons right here basically splits and reads all of the line items for the invoice. So if I open one of these, you can see these are the line items inside the form table, and then slowly through the process they get broken down into individual lines, and then from individual lines they get broken down to individual value pairs. So basically, what's the name of that value and the value itself. And then after that, you can see they are all being updated into the system. So like for example, the DFR sheet here, that's the ID, that's the time. They all get updated one by one. And then once that is done, we have another AI here that's basically tracking the company name and making sure that the correct company name is matched with the line item invoice. So at the end of the day, we have the full data here, and that will be reflective here in the line items. As you can see, here we are, orange heli, and then they're all saying for verification and they're all saying pending. So this is the step now where human uh, interaction is needed, because the team here will be interacting with the invoice, making sure it's all correct. That's it for the initial automation. So again, you submit the form goes through the automation parses the data, so it splits the form into chunks, and then the top here is the header section of the form. This is the bottom section of the form, and then this is the form table, which is like the line items inside the invoice. And then all of these values gets fed into the database here, which gets updated. And then along with that, an AI checks or references your customer list and attaches the customer to that line item record for them to be invoiced properly. And then after that, it's human checking. Now we'll be discussing the uh, human side of the checking for the invoices and making sure that they're correctly processed in the system. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of these because these are my tests, and we don't want to concern ourselves with that. And I'm going to delete this too because these are part of the test. Okay, so this is the DFR sheet that we've submitted. And then as you can see here, if I open this record up, you can see there's three line items attached to this. And to see the line items, you just go to the line items table and you can see these are the line items. Now, what needs to happen here is someone needs to go through each of the line items just to make sure everything is correct. One example here is this totalizer check. So this is a visual cue for your people to look at the numbers here, because this is saying false, because if this one is subtracted to this one or this one to that one, this is not the correct value. The correct value is something else. That's why the totalizer check is false. However, this one and this one is true. So that means that the math between these two, this is the correct value. So that's just the process right there. So if I pull out my calculator and do a quick math here, so it's gonna be 17585. Yep, minus 17078 507. So this says 510. So that means that the AI read 507 when it was written on the sheet and read it as 510. So what we need to do is we need to update this to 507. And to be honest with you, it may not be the total that's wrong. It could be one of the numbers here has been misread by the AI. So that's why someone needs to physically check the invoice or look at the image of that invoice and double check, make sure that the values here of the two here is correct, or this one is correct. And as you can see, I just updated it and now it says true. Some of the things that needs to be checked as well is the customer database. So you can see it says orange heli here, and the AI has identified orange helicopters. This could be wrong though. I'm not sure because obviously I don't interact with your customers. I'm not sure about the naming convention, but this is the closest match because this is the one that was written on the paper, and then this is the what the AI found as the closest match to the name that was written here. All right. And then what else? What else? Yeah, I guess that's the main checks that needs to be verified. And then what they need to do is they need to mark the item verified if they've properly checked everything. And then if this is also properly checked, this is going to be marked as verified. Now, I'm not going to mark this as verified to show you another feature of this automation system. So I'll just leave that as pending. Just remember that these two are marked verified. This one is not. So once they're all done with the verification, oops, I accidentally added that. Once they're all done with the verification, what they need to do is they need to change the DFR status from verification to verified as well. So if we open this, oops, sorry. If we open the DFR sheet here, so this is the DFR sheet, you can see the status says verification. If we change this to invoicing, that means that we are now ready to create an invoice for these line items. So let me just switch here, make sure this is on. Yep, this is on. So let me mark this for invoicing. And by marking that for invoicing, that automatically sends the information here in the automation, and it's gonna fire in a moment. Oh, there we go. After we've submitted, so remember what I did last time is I marked this for invoicing, the DFR sheet. So I you can either go here or you can go here and then just click the DFR sheet ID and then mark it as invoicing. So once you mark it for invoicing, it automatically gets submitted into the system here for to be finalized. And then it will go through here. It gets we get all of the information. So all of the blue items here, their main purpose is to extract the information from the database here, from the DFR sheet to the line items to the customer database, because it's now time to put them all together. So here's the header section for the DFR sheet. And then inside the header section, you can see there are multiple line items, three here to be specific. So it gets fed through here, and then a Google Sheet template is created for the invoice. And then after that, here on the iterator, the thing gets split. So the thing that I'm referring to is this, the IDs of the three line items. So when they get split, they would go here. We will extract the information for the three line items. And then as you can see here, there's a verification status filter. So remember, I left one thing here under pending. So because that wasn't marked verified, it will not be created into an invoice. The main reason for that is just for safety. We don't want to send improper invoices to the clients. So everything needs to be hand verified by everyone after OCR is done. So as you can see here, we found three line items, but because one of the line items is not marked as verified, it didn't go through the system, and only two were checked for the customer database and entered into the spreadsheet. So once that is entered into the spreadsheet is completed and it gets updated back into the system. So if we go back here and we switch back to the DFR sheet, there is now an invoice file for this uh, sheet. So as you can see, only two lines were created. The information has been pulled from the customer database here. And then you can see here's the reference number, here's the invoice date. You can see the description here, the quantity, and the account code. I'm not sure if I read this right. Just correct me if I'm wrong on this. I don't have any other information here as well because this was marked as not necessary. So I'm not filling out anything there. So the discount, the unit amount, and the due date and the inventory. Wait, sorry. The due date and the unit amount is to be filled by your team manually. So I didn't put anything there, and then the discount and the inventory item code was marked unnecessary. So everything gray here is marked unnecessary, and then this is the blue here is the customer database, and then the invoice number is also going to be a manual update from your team. So and the tax type too. So actually, let me all mark this as green. So this one and this one needs to be green. So everything green here is a manual input by the team. Everything else gets automated. So yeah. So this is now the final thing. So for example, that mistake was made. Remember, I added this under pending. So a simple solution for that is just mark it as verified. And then what you need to do is you just need to go back to here in the invoicing. So remember the invoice file ID is TT4Y. So if I mark this for verification and then I switch this back to invoicing, the automation will actually rerun and make sure everything has been processed. So I'm going to pause the video here and then wait for that automation to run, and I'll show you the sheet. All right, we're back. As you can see, the link here is updated. It's now -JK. And then you can see there's three lines now because we reran the automation. So here's two lines, here's three lines. So that's how you correct for it. Anyway, running out of time. See you guys. Thank you.